Welcome back. In the last video, we started looking at lists and we saw list of as well as mutable list of. In this video, I want to talk about index and I want to explain how index works inside of programming in general, but in particular with our list types inside of Kotlin. So we have our shopping list, all right? And in the last video, we printed out that shopping list. Now, if we look at the content of our shopping list, you can see that it printed out squared brackets at the beginning, opening it, and at the end, closing it. So this is just how the representation of a list looks like inside of programming. So in other programming languages, you even have to set it up this way, where when you create a list, you have to, or an array, you actually have to use these brackets in the definition, or at least that's one way of creating a list. But in Kotlin, it's just how it's done when you print it out. But here, the thing about indexing is that it starts with 0. So this is index 0. Processor is at index 0. So it's at the 0th position inside of our list. So in coding, you don't start counting at 1, you start counting at 0. And that's something that I would recommend to you in general, that you really get used to that whenever you are coding, that you don't start at 1, you start at 0. So here, if we were to edit something at index 2, we would get rid of SSD, or we change SSD. So let's do that real quick. So we have this print shopping list, and now let's use our shopping list dot and remove at. So there's this thing called remove add. You saw that we can add something and we can now remove something. Now, if we remove something, we saw that before, right? We have to specify the name, or we can remove at. That will give us the capability of removing at a particular index. So at a position inside of that list. So in that case, for example, I know that my SSD is at index 2. Okay, so that's why I'm using 2, because if you were to count 1, 2, then it would be RAM. So let's see if I'm right. Let's actually use the print line statement underneath as well, and let's rerun our code. And you can see that before we had the processor, RAM, SSD, cooling system, graphics card. Now we have processor, RAM, cooling system, graphics card. So we don't have the SSD in between anymore, because we have gotten rid of the index 2. Now, a little question for you. What would I delete if I now remove at this point, at the latest point, so at this point here, if I want to remove the RAM, what would be the number that I have to enter? Which index would I need to use when removing at? Okay, I hope you thought a little bit about it. It is number 1. So I have to remove at 1. So let's remove the shopping list at 1 just to see if that's right. Let's rerun the code, and we can see, actually we don't see it because we don't print it out. So let's print it out again and run the code. And now we will see that RAM is gone. So now we only have the processor, the cooling system, and the graphics card. Now obviously a bunch of components are missing. We don't have a motherboard, we don't have a case, we don't have a lot of things that a computer would need. And that is just a general idea as to how indexing works. So now if you want to add something at a particular point, let's say I want to add RAM back, but I want to add it after, let's say, the cooling system, what I can do is I can use shopping list and then use add. And here you can see add has 2 different versions. Okay, so 2 implementations. One is where you just add the element, and this item is added at the end of our list, and we saw that in the last video. But then there's also the option to add something, so add an element at a specific index, so at a specific position. Okay, so here I can just go ahead, and you see there are the 2 implementations, either the element directly or the index and the element. So I'm gonna say, what would be the position? I would say 2 is the index, and the item that I want to add is going to be the RAM. So I now have gotten rid of the RAM at the position 1 and I will get back to it at position 2. So let's check that again. Let's run our code once again and we will see that now our RAM is in fact after our cooling system. So that is what the index is all about. It's about changing or about basically accessing items inside of a list at a given index. Now, there are methods that we can use to modify lists more, and that's what we're going to look at in the next video. But for now, I just wanted you to understand that there is this concept of index, and the index is basically just the position inside of your list. If we were to graphically represent that, let me quickly just add a bunch of items. So we have position 0, we have position 1, we have position 2, we have position 3 and 4. So that is how it is done index-wise inside of any given list. All right, so that's it for this video. See you in the next one.